Um, Hello, YouTube. This is VidHead85. I hadn't planned to. Um, I need to understand. I need to find out how to set these up earlier and stuff like that, so that if anybody wants to tune into the live stream, that they can actually do it. So I'm gonna need a little bit of learning myself. So I just want to talk a little bit about the Veepstakes. And about I actually had something written a little bit ago because I wanted to kind of think through my thoughts about um, what is it? I wanted to think through, like, okay, what are my thoughts on the Veep stakes, as I called it here. So I was really pulling for Tim Walz after I dug into Shapiro a little bit. But I'm going to get to that. So pretty much about Shapiro, I said that I like him, but his Zionist actions will be detrimental for the ticket, especially for those passionate about Palestine. This isn't just an issue that impacts him directly, and I'd be worried a little bit for Michigan. Also, the main thing is for me that there's a difference between being pro-Israel and being Zionist. And he really was a force against the BDS movement. And at a time when Vice President Harris is looking to distance herself a bit from Joe Biden on it, Shapiro would not have been a good choice. Another thing, so moving on to Mark Kelly, what I thought about him was that I don't think Mark Kelly should be the vice president for a few reasons, because a special election or the governor could put someone in that spot for a placeholder. But again, I would not want to risk a Republican pickup. Bashir, I thought, would be a good pick because I think that he can appeal to rural voters pretty well. He's also dealt with a supermajority of Republicans during most of his tenure in government as governor. And the fact that he could still have that and win a sweeping, decisive victory over Daniel Cam last year was phenomenal. He's a skilled debater, very media literate, and focuses on kitchen table issues. Now, Walz, I said, I think he's a good pick because he's relatable and has pulled coalitions together to fend off Republicans in a district leaning their way. As governor, he's signed lots of progressive legislation, including one dealing with police in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder. He also had a few, what was it? There was one where he was ending prison gerrymandering. Now, I'm going to explain that. So let's say I live in town A. I was convicted in town A, but the jail is in town B. For redistricting purposes, B would be where I would be counted. So in a way, even though I'm living there, that would also be, I would be counted for the next 10 years. So even, let's say, if I'm released after 2 years, I'm still counted there as opposed to where I was from. So that is a way for those locales to get more population and more representation, and it should be illegal. So I like that as well. And he also has allowed those who are on parole, who have been convicted, to restoration of voter rights after they have completed their sentence or if they're on probation. And I think that is very fundamental because re-entry is very... People think about the jail time, but they don't think about re-entry back into society. And I feel that we need to make it we need to smooth the process out. So I've been looking a little, I'm looking at the August prime, and I don't think that there are any results for Missouri yet. I wonder if they're I wonder when their polls close, because that would be helpful. And I think they're on Central Time. Okay, Okay, so it looks like they're getting results in. Okay, so far Republican primary, Mike Kehoe is ahead so far. Let me check Michigan because I know that there is a U.S. Senate. There is a U.S. Senate race because Debbie Stabenow is stepping down. Michigan election results primary 2024. Let me see if they have closed polls yet, or if there's they're loading. I see them loading. Okay, none counted quite yet. So, Elsa Slotkin. Oh, Alyssa Slotkin. You know what? I keep on confusing her with Elise Stefanik from my state of New York. And I need to remember that. I need to remember that Stefanik and Slotkin, and they got the same initials too. ES, Alyssa Slotkin, and now it's and then Elise Stefanik. So yeah, I need to remember that. Okay. So regarding the general election, I do believe that. Okay, so jumping back. I think Tim Walz was the best choice for the Democratic ticket because he is a solid progressive, and I think that he can really bring in a coalition of unlikely allies. There have been times when I would see two people coming together and being like, "Wait, what? I thought they hated each other." But again, I think that is something where we see a lot of people coming together, like the Gang of Eight. I remember that. I also remember who was it? Missouri seat. Okay, I need Cori Bush to pull through today. I'm sick and tired of. It seems like a lot of people want diversity until Black folks open their mouth, especially in the Democratic Party. It seems like they also the establishment Democrats fought harder against Bernie Sanders supporters than they did Donald Trump, and I feel that's nonsense. But but again, let me stay on topic. Tim Walz, I think, was the very best option. Again, Shapiro, I think he would. I think that he probably should take a look at the House or the Senate, maybe the House. I think that he would probably do well there. He would probably get a good district, regardless of. I mean, if he has a competitive district, I think he could win that one. If he drew a competitive district, I think that he would be pretty good. But also the thing is, his opponent was Doug Mastriano. And there are a lot of people who like him, but then again, we're also turned off by him. And it's really crazy in American politics where we only have the two parties. Where if I were in a parliamentary system, I think I would probably, like with the French election, there's a far left party called the NFP. I would be that because it is further left than Joe Biden, and I'm far to the left of Joe Biden. And Bernie Sanders is probably like. Bernie Sanders is more he's not as far to the left as I would be. I think I'm to the left of Bernie Sanders. I think on guns, I'm definitely to the left of Bernie Sanders. Everything else, I'm right there with. But I think that I would definitely either be like an NFP or a Green Party. I would be a liberal party, but I would not be with the actual Democrats if we were in a parliamentary system. So I feel like there's a lot of political homelessness, and that is part of why I think Walz. That's part of why I think Walz is a little better, because I think that he can bring coalitions. So let me blow out to the election itself. So we're going to have a Senate race in Ohio. There are 3 Supreme Court seats up for election. 3 Ohio Supreme Court seats. And if Democrats sweep them all, there will be a Democratic majority for the first time since, I want to say, 1984. So let's see here. I'm in Ballotpedia with a total of 7 justices on the Ohio Supreme Court. 3 justices are running for re-election in 2 seats, and a third seat is contested in partisan elections. Justice Michael Donnelly advanced to the general election against Megan Shanahan. Justices Melody Stewart and Joseph Dieters will face each other on November 5th. Joseph Dieters chose to run for a full seat rather than a partial term. And there's a contested race between Lisa Forbes and Dan Hawkins. As of today, August 6, 2024, a 4-3 Republican majority. So if they sweep, if Democrats sweep, then we will take control of the Ohio Supreme Court. So that's why I think that we definitely need to contest Ohio, and I believe that we need to really kick in for Sherrod Brown. I need to look for some spots where I can go ahead and kick around for Sherrod Brown. So, and if we can get enough people to turn out and get enough people to save Brown, I think that the Supreme Court race could also get some of that traffic as well and turn to Democrat. I also want to see if we can kick around in Montana, though. Montana is another one where we have a tough re-election with John Tester, and he is some of his numbers have been kind of coming down a little bit as far as his re-election. So I'm really concerned about that. And they've had Republicans just have been kind of taking over the Montana delegation. I don't know when the last time. I don't know the last time that Montana had a Democrat in recent times. So let's see. So 2006 U.S. elections, state Senate, he had 49.2% of the vote, and there was a third party in there that took 2.6. Second re-election, he got 48.6% of the vote. 2018, he had, let's see, 67% of the youth vote. Let's see, John Tester had 50.3% of the of the Senate vote. 2024 now we'll test him. So let's see, 50.3% to 46. So it was 3 points there in 2018, 2012, even though Romney won Montana. It was still so it was about, let's see, 4 points. Yeah, about 4 points. So he's definitely done it before. He knows that the state. I'm just really hoping that Montana, that we can keep Montana. That is a huge one that I really want to keep. I think that Sheehy is polling ahead of Tester by 3 points. There's 5 points in a Remington Research poll, 6 in Torchlight Strategies poll. There's a tie. It was from June 11th to 13th. It really does look like John Tester could be defeated here. So I really want to see about going to Montana to bolster him up, because we need all the Democrats we can get, because the map favors Republicans. We definitely need as many Democrats in the Senate as we can get. So I think I almost feel like I'm kind of just winging it here in a live stream, but I guess that's kind of what happens here. But most of all, I'm really excited about this election, because there's a buzz, there's electricity here that was missing weeks ago, and I have to say that I'm glad that Joe Biden did make the tough decision to step down and really did what's best for the country. That man is a statesman. much issue as I have with some of the things that he's done in the past. I will say that he did what was good for the country, and that is a stark contrast to what we see on the other side of the aisle. So thank you so much for joining me for this. I really appreciate it, even though I got to see how I can schedule these so that I can maybe interact with some